what's happening in California prisons. Right now, the murder rates are on the rise and the death tolls are on the rise in the prisons. Hector, what do you think is going on?
What's going on is safety and security within a correctional facility setting has taken a back seat to almost non-existence. And the focus lately, within the past 2 years, has been the California model.
Zach, you might have a different perspective on this.
There are certain very beneficial elements to the California model that put an onus on programming. And what you're trying to do is give hope and opportunity to those who are willing and able to participate. They're bringing their points down. They're getting out of prison gang politics and into programming. I always talk about getting out of the rut of gang politics, which just completely occupies your time when you're incarcerated, and moving instead into the groove of prison programming, where instead of kind of feeding the needs of your gang or your race or any of these other kind of nefarious energies, you're putting your energy into rehabilitation, into programming, into helping your brothers, into youth offender programs and other kinds of beneficial means to help make prison feel more like a place of rehabilitation. CDCR, California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, has always had these terms in their title, and they're making an effort to get us there. And I think to a certain degree, it's almost unfair to ask people to operate in that model. If you don't feel safe and you're constantly under threat of violence, it's very difficult to do that, you know?
You mentioned safety. How do you see that right now? What's going on for the correctional officers?
To simplify it, it's like police officers on the streets. You tell them, hey, yeah, you can carry that gun, but we don't want you to use that gun, no matter what happens. And your job is just to go around gang neighborhoods and just go get that basketball and go play, shoot some hoops with them. But if a call for service comes, don't answer that. They won't put that in writing, but they'll fire cops that are actually doing their job per policy and procedure. So the way I look at it is correctional officers have a role to make sure that inmates don't jump over the fence, kill each other, or kill the correctional officers. I believe if they want to hire individuals, which they already have, rec therapists, their titles are rec therapists, they're the ones that partake in the activities with the inmates. Throwing footballs, playing card games, reading them newspapers, putting movies on the television set in front of them. So they've handcuffed the correctional officers from performing their duties.
How is this impacting the inmates?
In a nutshell, it's like having a bratty child not being able to be disciplined. It just gets worse, and you reward bad behavior. There's zero consequences. They've even removed the restricted housing unit, the ADSEG. There used to be crimes that an inmate would commit. Masturbation with exposure. Let's say an inmate exposes himself to a female correctional officer. In the past, he used to go to ADSEG, the hole. Now, they no longer go to the hole. Even more serious and severe one, in the past, if an inmate got caught with a weapon, a shank, they used to go to the hole. Now they do not go to the hole. So I want you to imagine if people are getting caught with knives and nothing's happening to them, masturbating and nothing's happening to them, they just keep taking that bar higher. And that's why you're seeing murders and attempted murders on correctional officers.
Zach, we had one of your former students, Brian James, who came on the show, that he was looking for every program possible. They wanted to get out. Are there categories of inmates that are actively looking?
The prison population is made up of all kinds of different swaths of people, but I think for the most part, the incarcerated, when given a chance at programming, would take it. But you have to have hope and opportunity woven into your mind. And if you don't have any hope or opportunity and you got nothing to lose and you're looking at a very long term, decades more in prison, maybe life without, what good do you, what motivation do you have to benefit yourself, you know? Some of these guys can even be at risk for joining in with programming and trying to better their lives. So you have to try to create an environment that incentivizes people to succeed and to pursue programming. And it's my experience that if you can shift the culture within a prison yard even a little bit to really integrate programming in successfully, you will change the entire environment on that yard. I mean, in terms of the California model and what I perceive it to be as it relates to programming, what I see programming do for a prison yard is make it much less violent. There's less drugs that are used and circulated. There's a lot more cooperation between correctional officers and the incarcerated, which is rare, because usually if you're locked up and you're chatting with a correctional officer, what's going on here? Why are you talking to that person? There's a certain amount of leeriness where they're cautious. Why are we having this exchange? If you're programming and you're in the dog program and you've got special privileges for freedom and mobility, you're going to have to be communicating with correctional officers relatively often. And what the California model seeks to do is improve cooperation with correctional officers and the incarcerated, improve communication and relationships with that group of people that have to coexist on this yard. There are incentives within programming. So if you misbehave, if you don't fall in line with what's expected of you, you will lose that privilege. You will lose the ability to participate in that program. That program in many cases will take time off of your sentence. That program in many cases will help you reduce your points, therefore getting you on a lesser secure yard, increasing your chance at access to new programs, access to different facilities, and access to getting out.